Yes, get ready for the legal dictation containing 720 words at the speed of 90 words per minute. 3, 2, 1, start. The revenue being aggrieved by the decision of the board filed tax revision petition before the High Court under section 86 bracket 2 of the Act. The High Court dismissed the revision petition filed by the Revenue and upheld the decision of the board by holding that the respondent unit is a prestigious unit and therefore entitled to 75% tax exemptions under the scheme. Aggrieved by the order so passed by the High Court, the revenue is before us in this appeal. We have heard learned counsel for the parties to the case and perused the documents on record as well as the order passed by the authorities and the High Court respectively. Passage. The learned senior counsel appearing for the appellant submits that the case pleaded by respondent unit right from the beginning of filing the application before the state level screening committee was that the new unit had made an investment of more than rupees 500 crores by way of fixed capital assets and therefore they should be placed under the category of prestigious unit and accordingly be granted eligibility certificate to claim 75% of exemption from tax for the maximum time limit provided under the scheme. In aid of this submission, the learned senior counsel would draw our attention to the application and the accompanying affidavit filed by the respondent unit before the state level screening committee. He would further contend that the respondent unit before all the authorities below, including the High Court, had adopted the stand that the fixed capital investment excluding investment made before 5th March 1997 was more than rupees 530 crores and therefore the respondent unit is a prestigious unit entitled to an exemption of 75% of total tax liability. It is further contended that the respondent new unit being new cement unit and further being large scale unit though can avail the benefit of the incentive scheme under 1E of Annexure C which provides for exemption up to 25% of total liabilities. It cannot avail the benefit of exemption at the rate of 75% under item 4 as prestigious unit. He would further submitted that benefit to cement industry is confined to the extent envisaged under the item 1E of Annexure C as the said item is a specific provision relating to cement industry. Passage. Alternatively, it is contended that the respondent unit being new cement unit, it may fall under new very prestigious unit. However, item 5 of Annexure C speaks of the new very prestigious units other than cement units except those located in subplan area. Respondent unit may not be entitled to avail the benefit of the scheme. Per contra, learned counsel would justify the reasoning and the conclusion reached by the High Court while rejecting the revenue's revision petition and thereby confirming the view expressed by the board. He would inter alia submit that item 1E is only an exception to the general rule envisaged in item 1 and not an exception to the other items in the annexure C, that is items 2 to 7, as it is not intended to govern the entire field of exemptions made available to the cement industry so as to deny the benefits to a unit even if it falls under another item envisaging better incentives. He would further submit that since new cement unit is specifically excluded from application of item 1, item 2 and item 5 but not item 4, item 6 and item 7, it follows that the intention behind such express exclusion is such that but for the said exclusion cement industries would be included in the said entries passage. He would strenuously submit that since the tax exemptions clauses are made with a beneficent object, that is to encourage investment in specified rural / semi-urban areas, their construction must be liberal such as to confer the most beneficial meaning to the provisions. The facts which are not in dispute are that the respondent assessee established a new cement unit within Panchayat Samiti and commenced commercial production sometime in the year 1997. It engaged itself in the manufacture of cement. The total capital investment in the new industrial unit claimed by the company was rupees 532 crores. The company had applied for grant of eligibility certificate for exemption from payment of central sales tax. Stop. Yes, get ready for the general matter dictation containing 720 words at the same speed. 3, 2, 1, start. Mr. Chairman, sir, I am grateful to you and this august house for giving me an opportunity to give expression to my feelings on certain topics which are intimately connected with the development of this country. Sir, I am a person who has spent more than 4 decades in the various aspects of education, science and technology. I have the privilege of having been associated, I may say quite intimately, with the various scientific organizations in the country. Apart from this, since science education and technology form the foundation upon which depend the development and prosperity of this country, I should like at the moment to confine my observations only to these topics. Passage. We have been very much interested to learn from the papers the various types of schemes that are being put up for the development of the subjects by the Ministry of Education. In fact, there have been so many types of projects and so many types and patterns of education, and so much money is being spent that it gives us hope that sooner than later the standard of achievement in our country with regard to these subjects will be raised. As a matter of fact, very often the indication of the progress that has been made or is being made in these subjects is estimated by the amount of money that is allotted for the development of these subjects. While I shall always appreciate the amount of money that is set apart for these developments, I should at the same time feel that the net result of these expenses must be more tangible. As a matter of fact, personally, I would like that even greater amounts of money should be made available for these developments, as is the case in a number of advanced countries of the world. But in spite of all this, we find that in general there is a sort of dissatisfaction prevailing in our country that the standard of education achieved in our country is not sufficiently high. When all these things are being said and done, and when still the results do not fully satisfy the public, surely there is something amiss somewhere. In spite of all the money that comes from the national fund and from foreign countries for being spent, we find that the standard achieved in our country in science, education, and technology is far below the desired standard. Let us begin with the universities themselves. We are observing that the universities are growing up in our country like mushrooms. After all, what is the basic difference between a university and a college? I need not say that whereas the essential purpose of a college is to impart education in the known branches of subjects, the object of a university is both creation and imparting of knowledge. Let us examine the condition of the staff that has been given to so many of these universities. I am very unhappy to give a picture of the present conditions. There are many universities which have been in existence for a number of years, and still a large number of posts, especially senior posts, are still unfilled. If we go on creating universities like this, and if we do not succeed in getting the proper type of teaching staff, how can we expect that the universities would be able to discharge their responsibilities? The present position in many of the universities is that a fresh young man who just passes his master's examination, say in June, just at the beginning of July, is being put in charge of teaching not only the undergraduate classes but even the MA and MSc classes. Everyone knows the system of examination that is unfortunately prevailing in our country. How do the young man passes the examination? Most of them just try to cram the subjects without undergoing any serious effort to study properly the master their subjects. Thanks to the system of examination, they often succeed in getting very high percentage of marks and then they are appointed to the staff. Naturally, we cannot expect that this type of teachers will be able to give a good account of themselves in teaching the university classes. Then, if we take into consideration the libraries and research journals, we find that they are very ill equipped. Stop over.